All right. So here's the plan for the fundamentals track, which runs all day. You don't have to stay with us all day, but I'm happy that you're here for the first session. My name is Phil Weber. I will be the lead presenter for this first session, Instrumenting Your Service with Agents. These sessions kind of build on each other. So in our first session, we're going to deploy a sample application to New Relic and get APM and browser agents reporting. Then my colleague Rachel is watching the chat window, by the way. So there she is. Hi, Rachel. So if you see somebody answering questions while I'm talking, that's probably her. But she'll be the lead presenter for the second session, exploring your data using NRQL. So we'll have our applications reporting, then you'll be able to write queries to answer questions about your data. There will be a lunch break from noon to 1 Pacific time. After that break at 1 p.m. Pacific, we'll talk about how to add custom instrumentation to that sample app. So our agents by default or automatically gather performance data. We're going to tell you which transactions are being executed most frequently and how long they're taking to complete and all the standard data that we gather. But you might want to add custom data that's specific to your business, like which products are people purchasing the most, and what's the average purchase amount, and which customers are buying the most stuff. So we'll talk about how you can add those custom attributes to your data, and then you could go back to those NRQL queries to ask questions about that data. Following that session, Rachel will talk about alerts, best practices. How can you get notified of anything, if the site is down, if a host is down, or if you get a really big order, maybe you want to get notified about that. So we'll talk about how to set up those alerts. And then this track will wrap up at 3 p.m. from 3 to 4, talking about synthetics, going beyond just pinging your website to see if it's online, but actually using scripted browsers and something called a step monitor to actually simulate user behavior, and how you can create those to monitor your applications more deeply. So that's our plan for this entire track. You're welcome to come and go, but this one is pretty important if you plan to attend later sessions, because this is the one where we actually deploy this sample application. There is a chat window. You can ask questions there. Please do. Don't be shy about asking questions. Let's get started. So when you log into New Relic, this is APM, this is browser, this is infrastructure. You see these nice, pretty dashboards with charts and metrics. Where does all that data come from? How are we able to populate those charts? Well, the key is agents. We have agents for our various products, APM, browser, infrastructure. There's also, we call it an agent for mobile application, but it's really more of an SDK. So those agents instrument your application or query the operating system, generate this metric data, and that's what you see when you log into New Relic and look at those pretty dashboards. So today we're gonna practice deploying the APM and browser agents. Now, the easiest way to deploy agents to your account, if you have not already done so, is to click that button in the upper right corner, Add More Data. And when you do that, a panel will slide out with various types of data that you can add. And there's a button there that says Guided Install, which, as the name suggests, will guide you through the process of deploying agents. So we actually have an environment to demonstrate that. Let's see if I can get this to work. First of all, here I am logged into New Relic as a training user, and there's my Add More Data button in the upper right corner. So when I click that, here's that slide out window. Here's Guided Install. Here we go. It'll say, first of all, which account do I want to send this data to? And it'll give me a drop-down list of all the accounts that my logged in user has access to. So I am going to send data to our NRU training account. By whatever I select from this drop-down will determine the license key that appears in the command line that I'm going to execute in a couple of minutes. Okay, so then I've selected an account. Now, what environment? So I will be deploying to a Linux host, but we support various other types of hosts. If I want this guided install to install APM agents, I can click APM over here and choose the programming language that my application uses. But for this example, we're going to do the infrastructure agent on a Linux host. Okay, so you'll log into your host and run a single command that's going to look at the system and recommend integrations. Then it will install the latest New Relic agents automatically. So when I say begin installation, it should give me a command line. We have a New Relic command line interface. Here we go. So here's the command for Linux. There's the API key that was automatically selected based on the account that I chose from that drop-down list. There's also an account ID number. I can customize this. I've got a few options. If I want to have my host communicate through a proxy, I can put the proxy settings there. Okay, so I'm going to copy this command. And now let me go over to another browser where I am logged into my Linux host. This is actually a training environment called Instruct with a Q. And so we've got a host in the cloud, and we can give you this link. Let's see if I can do this. I'll try to copy this link and put it in the chat. So you can play with this later if you like. If you don't have a host that you want to install New Relic on, then you can use this cloud-based host. And now I just blew away my command out of my clipboard. So let me go back and get it. Here we go. Copy command. There we go. And paste. Okay, so there's that command. It's going to download the New Relic CLI using a curl, and then it's going to open a bash prompt and execute the New Relic install command. Here we go. This host has MySQL and Nginx and Redis running on it. And so once it finally finishes installing infrastructure and logs, then it should detect that it's got MySQL and Nginx and Redis. Okay, so let's see. Choose from the following instrumentation. Logs, Golden Signal, MySQL, and Redis. Okay, I'm going to do all of those. I hit the enter key to accept all four of those. So we have individual installers that you could run manually. I could manually install the infrastructure agent. I could manually install logs integration, etc. But the idea here is that this is automated. It's a one-stop shop. It automatically queries the host to see what you have running. It figured out that I had MySQL and Nginx and Redis, so it's going to do those. Would you like to tail the log files to New Relic? Sure. While we wait for this, there's some setup that you will need to do our labs. So I'm going to let you get started with that. If I can get back to my slides. Okay, here we go. So for the labs that we're going to do in the remaining time, you're going to need a couple of free accounts. One of them is at a site called glitch.com, which is a web-based development environment. So you can branch or fork a GitHub repo to your account and then modify it in an online editor. You'll need a free account at Glitch. So if you don't already have one, go to glitch.com and sign up there. You can log in with your GitHub credentials or Google or various other methods of authenticating. You'll also need a New Relic account to send your data to. So if you do not already have a New Relic account, you can go to one.newrelic.com and sign up. It's free. You get 100 gigabytes of data per month forever. So we're not going to ask for any money unless you send us more than 100 gig. Once you have your New Relic account, there's a drop down in the upper right corner where you can view your license, does it say license keys or API keys? This thing up here. If you drop that down, API keys, there you go. You can select that to get your license key. You're going to need that as well. Okay, so you can go ahead and do that while my guided install is finishing up. Let's see how that looks. Would I like to be notified on my registered email address when this alert triggers? I'm going to say no. I don't want to do that. Okay, so it installed infrastructure, logs, golden signal alerts. It's automatically setting up some alert conditions for me. Now it's doing my SQL. I think it's going to ask me for some credentials in a minute. And over here on the right, I can see the credentials that I need to provide. And now Redis. Localhost. Port number. Okay, done. Infrastructure agent installed, logs integration, golden signal alerts, MySQL integration, Redis integration. View my data at the link below. I'm going to copy this and go back to my New Relic account. Okay, so here's my host. It's called Ubuntu. I can see this is infrastructure agent data coming in. CPU, memory, storage, network traffic, processes running. Okay, so that's my new host reporting that I've just added. What else? I could also go to infrastructure, third-party services. This is where my Nginx and Redis and MySQL should show up. Oh, wrong account. Okay, so there's MySQL and Redis. It's not seeing Nginx data yet. Maybe I need to send some traffic through that web server. So anyway, that's guided install, and you can see it takes a few minutes, but I didn't have to really do anything other than run the command, and now I've got infrastructure, logs, and some third-party services reporting to my account. So that's the simplest way to get set up when it works, like it did just now. If you run into any trouble with that, there are individual installers that are documented. You can always go on the docs and install them manually. I see that Eric's getting an error trying to create an account. We can't troubleshoot the product if it doesn't work. Anyone else having trouble? Rachel put a link in the chat that you might use to sign up. So how are we doing? Anyone need more time to sign up at Glitch, get a new Relic account? If for some reason you are not able to create an account, you don't have one and you can't sign up, we do have a training account. So you can log in with email, learn@newrelicuniversity.com. Password, what's our password for the Learn account, Rachel? I don't remember, we changed it. Ah, there we go, Citrus Geologist, thank you. Citrus-Geologist, all lowercase. Okay, so we'd prefer that you use your own account, but if for some reason you can't create one, you can use those credentials to log into our training account. Okay, last chance to tell me if you need more time. It's fine if you do, but you have to tell me. Anyone need more time to sign up for a Glitch account or a New Relic account? Or is everybody ready to proceed? Can't find the license key. Okay, so James, you have your own account. You're going up here to this account drop down in the upper right corner and selecting API keys. Is that right? Did that? You got it? You found one there? Okay, cool. So, and for the rest of you, if you created an account, that's where you get your key. It's going to be this license. Okay, nobody says they need more time, so let's move on. So you're going to go to this URL, the NRU-FoodMe app, and clone it into your account. Let's see if I can copy this or type it into the chat. rich.com/edit remix NRU-FoodMe. Okay, so in the browser that you are logged into Glitch with, go to that URL and clone the account. I got too many browsers open. Trying to find the one that's logged into Glitch here. It's not that one. Here we go. Here's Glitch. So if I go to this NRU Food Me app, and say remix, that will then create a new version, a new copy of this project in my account with a random name. Okay, so I've got one here called Little Uneven Bus. That's my copy, my branch of this app. So you should have one of those in your account. Anyone have a preference for light or dark theme? Let's wait for it to load up. You can see what's easier to read. Okay, so you got a file browser on the left. When you view a file, you'll see it here in this main section. I'm going to close this browser over here so we have more room to view the code. And so if I go into server index.js, how's that look for everybody? Do you like dark mode? Or you go to change theme and there's a light mode. Is that easier? We have one vote for dark, one vote for light and one for dark. James and Scott, you guys can battle to the death. Sorry, there's only two. Frank wants a blue mode. I don't have blue. All right, looks like light has like one more vote. So anyway, sorry. Can I make the font bigger? That I don't know. Let's see. I'll just embiggen it in my browser. How's that? Okay. So what do we need to do to get this to work? In the list of files on the left-hand side, there's one called .env. This is a place to put a maximize button in the bottom left of Hopin, bottom right. So you see the looks like a box with holes cut in the sides. That will make my screen share full screen and get rid of the chat and some of the other stuff. That'll help make the code easier to read. Okay, so there's a .env file that does not get cloned, right? If you have a project and somebody copies it like you just did, and I don't want you to have my license key, so I can put my license key in that .env file and then it won't get copied. So we need all of you to put your license key in that .env file. So let's see, I'm going to go to my account. Copy this license key over here on the right. You can click the three dots and say copy the key. Then go into here's .env. And it says license key and a place to put the value. Put that there. And there we go. Okay, so put your license key in the value next to the key that says license key. Everybody got that? Next, you need to set the name of the application. Now, technically, you don't have to. We've already got the New Relic node agent deployed here. So there's a newrelic.js file, which is the sort of configuration for our node agent. And that's where you specify your application name. There's already one in there that says food me. So if I go to newrelic.js, here's app name food me. If you just want it to be called food me in your own account, that's fine. If you're sending the data to the training account, it would be a good idea to give this a different name. I'm going to call this Beta Nerd Days Food Me, just to make it clear, because I already have a Food Me app in my account. So I want it to be clear that this is the one that I am instrumenting right now. Okay, and then the slide says, change the name in the JSON, the package.json, but you really don't need to. This is just a description of the JSON of the Node app, and this name doesn't affect anything, so you don't need to change that. Okay, so we've edited our .env file to have our license key. Then we've edited the newrelic.js file to change the app name optionally, if you don't want the default of FoodMe. Everybody with me so far? Next, we're going to run the app and place some orders so that the app will send some data to our account. So to run the application, you go up here to the top of Glitch where it says show, and we want to show it. I mean, you can do it next to the code if you want. It'll be another column on the right, but I like to show it in a new window. So I get a full browser window. Here's our app. I didn't write this app. It was written actually by some of the Angular developers at Google. So it's a few years old. You can put any name in here. I'll put my name, but you can make anyone up. I like this address, 432 Wiggly Road, Mountain View, 94043. So I'm going to type that in. 432 Wiggly Road, Mountain View, 94042. Put any address in there, then find restaurants. So this is like a Seamless or a Postmates or a, you know, name your favorite food ordering app here. Let's order some stuff. You can choose your favorite cuisine over on the right. I love some of the restaurant names like Hit Me Baby One More Thai. I didn't write this app, but if I did, these were the names I would have chosen. So I like egg rolls. I'm going to add an order of egg rolls and pad see ew and some Thai coffee. Okay, so you add some stuff and then you go to checkout, pick a payment method, any 16 digits for the card number. You don't have to give us your real credit card. Expiration date. Oh, this needs a 4-digit year. There we go. And purchase. Okay, so that's how you place an order. Go ahead and order some food. I'm going to do another one. Another fun restaurant name. Non Sequitur. I like that name as well. Okay. Butter chicken is my go-to Indian dish. Need some naan. Some gulab jamun for dessert. And some rice. Checkout, it remembers my payment info. That's cool. And purchase. Okay, so you place some orders, and if all is well, you should be able to go to your New Relic account. Go to APM. And there's my Data Nerd Days FoodMe app. Okay, so it picked up the correct app name. I could see I've got some response time and throughput metrics coming in here. And if I click into that, here's my summary dashboard with some data over here. This is the last 60 minutes, so I've got a big empty space on the left. I might want to make this shorter. Let's do 30 minutes. Okay, so I can see my traffic just started at 10:28, about 4 minutes ago. Here's my number of requests per minute. The response time of my transactions. I'm running on one host. All right, so that's what you should see. All we had to do to get this application reporting is add our license key to that .env file and specify an app name in the node configuration, the newrelic.js config file. Any questions about that? Anybody not seeing data? Anyone need more time? Okay, everybody's really silent. You were very passionate about the theme, light or dark. I got a lot of response about that one, but now nobody's saying anything about the rest. Okay, well, assuming this works, that's APM. That is our server-side application code automatically instrumented by the node agent. The reason that node agent was there, by the way, is because in our package.json, we included it as a dependency. So when we do npm install on our development server or our production server, it's going to grab that New Relic agent automatically as part of our app. And then we just modified the config file. It's picking up the license key from our environment variable, so we don't need to hard code that here. And then the app name, that's it. So we have our server-side instrumentation, but this app is Angular. It's running in the browser. We can add instrumentation to measure page load times and other metrics in the user's browser. Let's do that next. Tabs or spaces to get a more passionate response. Yep, I should do that. Okay, deploying the browser agent. So we're going to go back to that Add More Data button in the upper right corner of New Relic, choose Browser, select our account, and then copy and paste JavaScript code. And that the New Relic website will give us a block of JavaScript that we can copy and paste into our app. So let me do that first. Go to the home page of New Relic. I'm clicking in the upper left corner to get back to the home page. Add more data. Scroll down until I see browser, New Relic browser. Click that. Which account? This is going to go to our NR, well, in my case, NRU training. You would pick your own account here. This takes us to a configuration page for browser. We've got some options here. If you are instrumenting a node.js application, that's us, then do copy and paste. Okay, so this, for option one, we're going to select copy and paste JavaScript code. It's possible with certain agents in certain situations that the APM agent can automatically generate the JavaScript. That works pretty well for .NET, for Ruby apps. It works for Java apps only if they're using JSP as the page templating language. But in the case of Node, we need to copy and paste. So we're going to choose that. We can optionally enable or disable distributed tracing. It's on by default. We'll leave that on. We will allow the browser agent to set an anonymous cookie. It's just a random session ID, but you can turn that off if you wish, if you're scared of any kind of data being saved. This will break some functionality of browser. What we're storing here is a unique session ID that allows us to see that multiple page views belong to the same session. If you turn off cookies, there's no session ID, so we won't be able to group multiple page views into a single session, just FYI. And then down here, we're going to say, is this browser app associated with an APM app? And in this case, yes, it is. It's the Ada Nerd Days Food Me. So I'm going to search for that app name. In the generated JavaScript now, it's going to use the same app ID for my browser app that has been generated for my APM app. So it's going to associate those two applications together. So when I click Enable, it gives me my JavaScript code. Here we go. Copy the snippet of code below and paste it as close to the top of the head as possible, but after any position-sensitive meta tags, such as X-UA compatible, and how do you pronounce that? Char set, it's character set. Okay, so I'm going to grab that block of code. I'm going to go back to glitch. And where does this go? Sorry, I got to look at the slide to figure out where to put this. index.html. Okay, so I'm going to go to the app folder and then index.html. App, index, here it is. I was in app, but I didn't see the index file. All right, I left a blank spot for you. That's where it goes. As close to the top of the head section as possible, but after the character set. So I'm going to paste my JavaScript. I'll indent that just because I'm picky about stuff like that. Okay, so that is the browser agent. It's got the ID of your account in here. It's got your license key, an application ID that corresponds to your APM application. If we go back to our app running in another tab, reload the page, and I'm going to view source. I just want to make sure that my browser agent is there. There it is in my view source. So that did, in fact, download in with my web page. The other thing I'm going to do is turn off my ad blocker for this page. Can I do that? Some ad blockers will prevent our JavaScript agent from working. So to make sure that I get my data, I'm going to turn off this ad block. Okay, and now once again, let's place an order. How about some Chinese food? I always think that says human dumplings. Hunan. Okay, got some food, go to checkout. See, because I reloaded, it's forgotten my payment method. So that's cool. Okay, and if this worked, now I should be able to go to my New Relic browser application list. Okay, so I'm in my account. I'm in, I go to browser. I am not seeing it yet. All right. Well, it may take a couple of minutes to show up. What if I go to query my data? Here's a preview of the next session using NRQL. I'm just going to see if I'm getting any page view events. All right. Well, I'm not getting data from my browser app. I'm not sure why. I put the script here. I can see it when I view source. There it is. Anyone else getting browser data from their glitch application? Oh, well, it's working for Eric. Okay, well, that's good. Well, it doesn't really matter if the ad blocker was off because I can see the agent at the top of my page, right, when I view source. So the agent was there. I can reload again just to make sure. It's off now, right? I don't see an ad blocker here. Okay, well, I don't know why mine's not showing up, but Eric said he got data, so it works for some of you. I would have to spend some time troubleshooting and figuring out why it's not here. Yeah, do keep in mind that if your customers are using an ad blocker, it may prevent the JavaScript agent from downloading, and so you won't get data from those users. And there's really nothing you can do about that. It's their browser. They have the ability to block that agent if they wish. So that's everything we had for part 1 of this session. You've got your sample application running. You've deployed the APM agent for your server-side code, the JavaScript agent for the browser. I'll have to figure out before my next session why mine isn't reporting. The browser agent does send its data once per minute, so it's possible that I'm just checking too quickly. And maybe the agent hasn't had a chance to send its data. I don't know. But if you're seeing your app show up under browser, then you're good to go. Any questions before we take a break? Okay, so in the next session, Rachel is going to teach you how to write queries, how to ask questions about your data using our NRQL query language. And then I'll come back after lunch to teach you how to add custom attributes to this data. Hector has a question. So we have a browser agent and an APM agent. That is correct. We did an APM agent for the node portion of our code and then a JavaScript agent for the browser. I don't have a recording, but I believe the organizers of this event are going to send recordings, Vasu, so you should get one after the event.
And Phil, I just want to clarify, I'm 90% sure that we'll have to leave this session and we'll have to click to go to another session. I don't think we can just hang out in this room.
Okay. Scott, are you here? Is that correct? Does everybody need to leave and then select the next session? We had to do that last time, but this time there's only one link, so I'm not sure.
Scott says he believes so.
Okay, so yeah, please leave this session. There's a leave button. I have a leave button above the video window, and then select the next one at the top of the hour. All right. Thanks very much. Hope to see you in a future session. Enjoy your break.